All right, everyone, for those of you that are just joining us, welcome. Again, my name is Brian, and I'll be facilitating today's presentation on the Ecomdash mobile app. Welcome, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you on other webinars that we're hosting in the future. If this is the first webinar hosted by Ecomdash that you've attended, we generally accept questions on our webinar, and this one is no exception. Feel free to submit those questions at any point in time through the GoToWebinar tool, and I'll be addressing those towards the end of the presentation. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into today's content, which is going to be the Ecomdash mobile app. Before we really get started, just a little bit of background on how the mobile app came to be. So Ecomdash has actually had a mobile app for several years. However, the first version of the mobile app really didn't have much functionality and was built in a way that is very limited. So we've gone back over the past few months and entirely redesigned our mobile app. And the presentation that you're seeing today is for this new Ecomdash mobile app. This is the app that we'll be using moving forward. We'll continue to update, and as you will hopefully see over the coming years, we will be providing many updates to this app to just continue to increase its functionality from where it stands today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into Ecomdash mobile. Okay, so here is our agenda for today's presentation. We're going to start out with just a little brief discussion about how to download and get set up and operational using the Ecomdash mobile app. It's pretty much just like downloading any other app to your phone or mobile device, but there are a few other steps you have to take in Ecomdash to make that operational, so we'll make sure we're all on the same page there. Once we've got that setup discussion out of the way, we'll hop in and do a little bit of discussion about our mobile dashboard. The mobile dashboard is the first page that you'll see in the mobile app and is designed to give you some very basic information about your business and draw things to your attention. Then we'll go into the inventory aspects of Ecomdash Mobile and how it can help you manage your inventory and get some more visibility there. The order management features within the mobile app, as well as the scanning tool. A brief discussion on the settings. There are really just a few ways to customize the mobile app or change its behavior. Some different ways that you can actually use the Ecomdash mobile app in your day-to-day business. And finally, we'll wrap up with a discussion about how you can provide us feedback on the mobile app and how you can get support for the mobile app moving forward. As I mentioned, this app is going to be an ongoing project for us. We will continue to develop it and add more functionality, and we do prioritize that functionality based on your feedback. So we'll love to hear what you all think about the mobile app as it stands today and what you would like to see in the mobile app in the future. Once you wrap all that up, I'll go ahead and address any questions that pop in, so feel free to submit those at any point in time, or if not, you'll of course have time to submit those towards the end of the presentation as well. Okay, so in terms of getting set up on the Ecomdash mobile app, your first task is actually going to be within Ecomdash. Some of you might be familiar with the Ecomdash App Store. Now, it's not to be confused with the App Store on your iPhone or on your iPad. This is the App Store that is internal to Ecomdash and is used for adding additional features to our software. One of those additional features is access to our mobile app. So before you get started with downloading and installing the app on your phone, I recommend that you log into your Ecomdash account, head over to the storefront setup page, the settings page. On the settings drop-down, or directly from your Ecomdash dashboard, you'll find a link to our App Store. Within the App Store, you'll see a mobile or API key app. It's displayed up here in the upper right-hand corner of the presentation for you. And you'll want to first download and then subscribe to that app. First subscribe and then download to that app. You can do that by locating the app tile for the mobile API key, clicking on Info, and then Subscribe. Once you subscribe to the app, you'll see this image that's down here in the lower right-hand corner of the page, and you will need to generate an integration key. The cool part about this is you won't need to write down that key or remember it. It'll be stored here and visible in Ecomdash should you ever need to use it for a different purpose, but you won't actually need to use that key directly when connecting to the Ecomdash mobile app. We've made that sign-in process a little bit more straightforward. Moral of the story is you just need to have that key generated before you download and install the Ecomdash mobile app on your phone to make the sign-in process pretty straightforward. So again, settings, App Store, mobile API key app, subscribe to that app, click Generate Key, and then you'll be all set from within Ecomdash. Once that process has been completed, you'll want to actually go through the process of installing the Ecomdash mobile app. So our app is currently based in iOS. That means you can use it on your iPhones, your iPads, your iPod Touch, any of those awesome Apple mobile devices that are floating around out there in the world. It does require iOS 10.0 or later, which most mobile devices are running these days. So definitely keep that in mind. You might need to do a software update if you are running an older version of iOS. On the App Store on your mobile device, you'll just want to search for Ecomdash or Ecomdash Mobile. You'll find the app that's displayed here on the right-hand side of your screen. You can then get that app. It is a free app to use, so you won't receive any additional charges from Ecomdash or from Apple by installing that on your device. But clicking Get and then installing that on your device will get the app actually installed on whichever mobile device you'll be utilizing it on. Now, once you have the app downloaded and installed on your mobile device and the setup complete in Ecomdash, you can actually start using the Ecomdash mobile app. The first page that you're going to see is the Ecomdash mobile dashboard. So right now, the mobile dashboard is designed to be a very quick point of reference that is very targeted to tasks that you might be completing today or things that might be relevant for your business knowledge today. So there is, of course, much more information about your business health and order management process within the desktop version of Ecomdash. The concept for the mobile app is to keep things very light and agile so you can make those decisions on the fly. So on this dashboard, you can see orders from today that are in a paid ready to ship status. So those are orders that you might need to check on the shipping status for. Orders that have been received today that have not yet been paid for. Those orders that have been, the purchasing process has begun on your storefront, but the customer has not yet completed payment, so you'll know those are coming. You also see total revenue from today and a 5-day rolling total revenue to give you a little bit of business health from today and over the past 5 business days. So some cool information there. Really on this page, the thing that's most useful are going to be those top 2 numbers, the today's paid ready to ship orders and today's awaiting payment orders. That's really going to clue you in as to how much work you need to be doing, how much work you have queued up for the future, and you can really use that to help set your day and manage your time as your day goes by. Now you'll notice down here at the bottom of the mobile app, there are a row of actions. You have dashboard, orders, scan, inventory, and settings. So we'll go in and talk about each of those different modules because they do have different functionalities and provide you with different access to features. Now the first one we're going to hop into is the inventory module. So like its name implies, the inventory module is going to show you a record of all the products that you have in your Ecomdash account. You'll see some pretty basic information here, a little image of the product, the name as it's set in Ecomdash, the product's SKU number, and that number you can see over on the right-hand side of the page is the total number of units of that product you have available for sale. Now, this page, you can search on this page. Essentially, searchability is done using that bar up at the top of the app you can see. You have 2 different search options from the inventory management section. One, you can search by product title, and 2, you can search by product SKU number. Now those do have to be exact matches. So for example, if we were searching for the pop-up trash can you can see here on the middle of the app, if we wanted to search for that by SKU number, we would need to type in the full SKU number value. So 0000-12951, hit search, and that product will return. Now, I usually don't recommend searching on this page because it is an exact match. You know, if you make any typos or miss any spaces, you won't see any results appear. But there are some easier ways to locate specific pieces of inventory in the mobile app using our scanning tool, and I'll be addressing that tool in just a few moments. Now, whenever you actually locate a product that you're looking for on that inventory tab, you can click directly on the product and you'll see information about that product itself. So there's some pretty basic information here. It's another sort of description of the product where you see a larger version of the image, its SKU number, its title again. Up at the top of the page you can see that same total quantity on hand value. Down at the bottom of the page you'll see some information about where this product is located and how many units are stored at each location. The image on the left, you can see that we're looking at our North Carolina warehouse where this product is stored in aisle 4, bin 10, and there are currently 0 units located in that warehouse. Over on the right-hand side of the page, we can see that we're looking at our Colorado warehouse where this product is stored in a different aisle and bin, and it has a warehouse quantity of 15 at that location. So all that information can be viewed in Ecomdash, and it can also be edited within Ecomdash Mobile. The image on the left-hand side of the page from the North Carolina warehouse, you'll notice down at the bottom there's a blue field of text that says update quantity and location. Clicking on that will open up those fields to be edited. You can change the aisle and bin, you can adjust your warehouse quantity, you can adjust the warehouse that you're looking at to see that information in. Once you make those adjustments, you can click that blue Save button that you'll see in the Colorado warehouse image on the right-hand side of the page. And once you click Save, all that information will be submitted back to the desktop version of Ecomdash and stored and updated there. So some pretty cool tools for being able to locate products, see how much inventory you have in what location, and being able to make on-the-fly inventory adjustments as well. Now moving on to the order features of the Ecomdash mobile app. The order management section, by default, is going to show you all orders from today's date that have been received in Ecomdash. So you do see a breakdown of the full list of order statuses in Ecomdash, those being awaiting payment orders, paid ready to ship orders, or complete orders. Now you do have the ability to filter this order information in a couple of different ways. Up at the top, you can filter by those order statuses I was just mentioning, and you can also filter by date range. Now the date range is very useful if you need to go back and find older information in Ecomdash or historic information in Ecomdash. Do keep in mind that date range is limited to a 5-day window, so you do need to be fairly tight with it if you're trying to look up or find something within the Ecomdash mobile app. That is 5 days inclusive, so you could do the 20th through the 24th, since that would be 5 total days within that range. Once your date range is set and your order filters are set, for example here we can see all orders in our Ecomdash account that are in a paid ready to ship status that were received between 2/18 and 2/19, and we can see a little bit of information about those orders. We can see the order number, the date they were received, the channel name, the status of those orders currently, and the total revenue from those orders. Now, much like the inventory tab, if you click directly on one of those orders, you'll see some more information about that individual order. For this product, we can see that this came from our Full Moon Outfitters storefront. We can also see information about the products that were included on this order and how many units were purchased. Now from here, we actually have another level of depth that we can get into. If we click directly on one of those products that's associated with this order, we'll go back to that item details page we were viewing previously, where we can see where this product is physically located at and how many units are in each one of our warehouse locations. So a good little connecting point there between the order management process and the inventory management aspects of your business. Now, moving on to probably my favorite feature of the Ecomdash mobile app, we do have barcode scanning functionality built into the mobile app, which is great. When you're walking around in your warehouse or needing to look up information about your inventory, you do not need to buy a standalone barcode scanner. You can just use your phone or your iPad or your iPod Touch, whichever device you have available, to locate information about your products. So in terms of using that barcode scanner functionality, we've got a little example pulled up here on the page. We're going to look at this awesome microwaved madras lentils and see what that product looks like. So when you first load up the scanner in Ecomdash Mobile, you might be prompted for permissions for the scanner to use your camera and camera roll. You'll definitely want to grant that permission. The scanner is using the camera functionality on your device, so if we can't see what your phone is seeing, it's going to be very difficult for Ecomdash to read that barcode. You should only have to do that once. Once that is confirmed and Ecomdash has access to those camera features, you'll be able to start scanning products. Now, when you're actually scanning products, the Ecomdash scanner functions really just like the camera on your phone normally would. You'll see an image that's displayed on it, and you'll just want to focus in on that barcode that Ecomdash will be scanning. The image that you'll see on the left-hand side of the page, where we have the larger view of the entire back casing of these lentils, there's a lot of information displayed there, which is not quite close enough for Ecomdash to be able to pick up and read that barcode and distinguish it from the rest of that information. The image over on the right of the page, we have a nice tight view of the barcode itself. We'll scan in Ecomdash, so that's kind of the point of reference that you're looking for there. Generally speaking, you'll just want that barcode to be clearly visible, centered within the mobile app, and usually about 12 inches away from the mobile device is the distance that we're found the most success with. Now, you don't have to worry about targeting in on that barcode or making sure that the barcode is the only thing displayed on the page. As soon as Ecomdash can identify and focus on that barcode, we'll go ahead and capture that information and start loading up the product details for this item. So don't feel like you have to zoom in so far that the barcode is the only thing you can see. Many times zooming in too far will actually make it harder for Ecomdash to read that barcode. So try and keep that about 12 inches of distance, probably functionally somewhere between 6 and 18 inches, and just move your phone around, adjust that focus until we can lock in on that. As soon as we have that focus point, you'll see another page load. Now, when Ecomdash scans a barcode, there are two types of behavior that you can experience. The first type is what we'll discuss here. And if that barcode does not exist in Ecomdash, if that's for a product that we don't have a record of, the mobile app gives you the opportunity to create that inventory item in Ecomdash right from there. You can provide a name for the product, you can adjust the SKU number if you need to, you can define the quantity of that product, and then when you hit Save New Item, a new inventory item is created in Ecomdash. Very useful feature for if you are selling unique items or you sell a lot of one-of-a-kind goods that might have a barcode on the back of them, or if you're selling items that are of historic relevance that might have a signature or be in a special condition, you can easily scan any codes that might be on them, add those items to your inventory, and then move along with the listing process from the Ecomdash dashboard. Now, the second behavior you can see is if this item already exists in Ecomdash. If we have that information encoded in the barcode on record in our system, you will see the product details page for that item where you can adjust its warehouse location or adjust the quantity in any particular warehouse. So two different functions there, one for creating new products, one for editing existing products, both accessible through the barcode scanner. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, I usually don't recommend searching on the inventory tool within here just because of how precise that is, but the scanner is also designed to help you out with that. The inventory management page that you see here is exactly the same inventory details page you'd see if you were navigating to the inventory app, searching for a product by typing in those digits. So give your fingers a break. Instead of typing in those SKU number or UPC digits, just use the barcode scanner to scan them and look up that item. You'll get to your objective much, much faster. Okay, so let's hop into the settings available for the Ecomdash mobile app. There are just a few of those available. The first one is actually very important, and it's going to be your scan value. People choose to encode all kinds of different information in the barcodes on the back of their products or on barcode labels that are applied to their products after the fact. And this setting is essentially just giving Ecomdash some instruction on what information is encoded in your barcode. If that scan value is set to UPC, Ecomdash will read your barcode as a UPC code and attempt to identify any product in Ecomdash that has the same UPC code. If you set your scan value to SKU number, Ecomdash is going to read that barcode value as your product SKU number and use that as an identifying metric instead of UPC. So do keep that in mind. If all your barcodes are UPCs, you'll want to set it up as UPCs. If your barcodes are SKUs, set it up as SKUs, and then just make sure you're scanning the correct value. If this happens to be set to UPC and you scan it with the scan value, and you scan an actual product barcode, Ecomdash might not find the right product because we're not looking for that value in the right spot. Now, the second setting available here is your default warehouse. You can scroll through that list and select between your warehouses in Ecomdash. And all that's doing is whenever you load up those inventory details to see information about the product, this is the warehouse that's going to be displayed first. So if it's a warehouse that you're working in or a warehouse that you want to use as your primary source of fulfillment, I recommend setting that default warehouse to your to the warehouse that you're trying to use or want to use most frequently. Okay, so let's talk about some different use cases for the Ecomdash mobile app. So there are a few of them that we kind of had in vision when we came out with the first version of this mobile app. The first one is being able to quickly go through and do physical inventory counts and validation. So that's, again, relying pretty heavily on that scanning feature we were just talking about. You can actually walk through your warehouse, pick a product off the shelf, scan the barcode on the back of it, see that product information displayed right in front of you, You'll be able to see how many units Ecomdash thinks are on the shelf, and then you can look right on the shelf and see how many units are actually there. If there are any differences between those two values, you can update that quantity in Ecomdash, and that new value will be stored in our system. The second big use case is picking your products. Since you also have visibility into your orders in Ecomdash, your paid, ready to ship, and unpaid orders, if you're walking through your warehouse and pull out your mobile device, you'll be able to see any orders that have appeared in Ecomdash since the last time you checked. Click on those orders to see what products have been purchased, and go ahead and grab those orders to bring them out of the warehouse with you so you can continue with the fulfillment process. As I briefly mentioned earlier, you also have the ability to add new inventory items to Ecomdash. Adding through the mobile app is definitely the fastest way to create a product in Ecomdash, but you are kind of limited in the amount of information that you're setting there. This actually came directly from feedback from one of our customers who sells a lot of items that they receive in crates, and they might receive one-off versions of a lot of different inventory items. So a great way if your business is similar to that, or you're adding new items to Ecomdash that are mostly going to be one-off sales or single unit sales, so you can go in and start creating those inventory items very quickly without having to sit there and type all that information directly into Ecomdash. The final use case here is just order oversight. Without having to log into your computer or get all Ecomdash all booted up, it's very easy to pull your mobile device out or take a look down at your iPad, quickly look and see how many orders are awaiting fulfillment or are in that paid ready to ship status, so you can just have some visibility into how much work you need to be doing. If you are on the way into the office in the morning, it might be easier to pull out your phone and look at your phone on the way in and say, oh man, we have 35 orders in paid ready to ship status, so first thing we need to do is go ahead and hit that warehouse and start shipping those orders out. Or you might look at that and say, hey, we only had one order come in overnight. I'm going to go ahead and check my email and grab a cup of coffee before I hit the warehouse and start working on that fulfillment side of things. So a couple of use cases there right off the bat, and hopefully we'll be able to add more as we continue to add features and functionality to the Ecomdash mobile app. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are going to continue to develop this app. This is definitely the first version of the reintegrated version of the Ecomdash mobile app. If you do have any feedback or suggestions for the mobile app, I definitely recommend submitting that through our community forum. There's a link to that provided right here, but we'll also be sending out a follow-up email so you'll have a little bit more direct access to that link, so don't feel like you need to write down the entire thing. But our community forum is available through our support environment. You do need to log in to access that community forum. And if you've never been there before, it is different than your login for Ecomdash. Well, it could be different than your login for Ecomdash. It's just an independent account. So you will need to set one up the first time and make sure you provide some credentials that you'll be using to access that community forum over and over. Now that is not just limited to the mobile app. The feature request section is also for the desktop version of Ecomdash, so feel free to take advantage of that, engage with that community forum, and provide any feedback or suggestions you might have. If you do have questions about the mobile app itself in terms of using it or utilizing it, or you're not getting the behavior that you would expect, reach out to our live chat team. You can access them from Ecomdash by using the support icon in the lower right-hand corner, or by sending an email to support@ecomdash.com. With mobile app support, it's usually very helpful if we can have some screenshots of what you're seeing on your end on your device. So if you see any weird behavior, feel free to take a screenshot of that on your phone, and you can send that email right over to support@ecomdash.com so we can take a look. Pretty easy to do that right off your mobile device. Now, you can always reach out and contact our phone support team by scheduling a call using the question mark in the upper right-hand corner of your Ecomdash app. However, mobile app support over our phone system is fairly limited right now. There's just not a lot of visibility that we have into things going on with the mobile app, so we usually recommend submitting those into our support email system. We can work with our development team to see what's going on behind the scenes and get a solution in place for you. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and open this up for any questions that may have been submitted. Of course, if you still have questions, feel free to submit those at any point in time, and I'll make sure we address those over the next few moments. Okay, looks like we had a question about support for Android devices. So the original version of Ecomdash Mobile was actually built to work on Android as well as iPhone. So you will still see an Ecomdash Mobile app out there in your Google Play stores or your Android stores. So you can download that app. It will not function, is the long and short of it. It's built on an older version of Ecomdash with a very outdated back-end architecture, so that functionality really isn't there. We do hope to be re-releasing a version of the mobile app that parallels this iOS app for Android. We don't really have a time frame set for that right now. We're making sure that we have all the architecture in place for the mobile app to function, and then we'll be able to move over into the Android world to support all of our Android users. Okay, looks like we had a question about the types of devices that the app can run on. Yeah, so since the app was built to operate in iOS, it should work on any of those Apple devices, be they iPhones, iPod Touches, or iPads are all capable of running iOS. There's not a way to access Ecomdash Mobile directly on your desktop. So this would be sort of separate from the standard Ecomdash website you'd be navigating to and logging into to perform your normal inventory management or normal workflows. And of course, this app is very dependent on the desktop version of Ecomdash as well. So you do need a desktop version of Ecomdash to be able to use and access the mobile app. Okay, we had a question about the pricing for the mobile app. So the mobile app is entirely free to use. There's no extra charges from Ecomdash or from Apple for installing that app on your device or adding that functionality to your Ecomdash account. You'll just be paying your normal monthly subscription to Ecomdash, which is, of course, based on the order volume that you experience. Okay, so we had a question about the scan tool in terms of what information is being scanned, and the exact question is, will we autofill the UPC information separate from the SKU? So it depends on which scan setting you have in Ecomdash. So since the mobile app can scan via UPC or SKU, if it's set to scan by SKU, we're just going to scan that value and save it as the product SKU, and nothing will happen to the UPC field. If you are setting that to scan by UPC code, Ecomdash will scan that UPC, will apply it to the UPC field in Ecomdash, and we're also going to assume that that UPC code will also be your product SKU number. So you would have the option at that point to go back in and say, hey, Ecomdash, you already know the UPC of this product, but I want the SKU to be somewhere else. So I guess short answer to the question, as long as you're scanning by UPC for a new item, you will be seeing that UPC information fill and populate in Ecomdash. Okay, looks like we had a question for listing support out of the mobile app. So at this point in time, we don't really have any support for the listing functionalities of Ecomdash in the mobile app. That would have to be completed on our desktop version of Ecomdash. Now, one important thing to point out, for those of you that are Ecomdash users, you probably received an email today noting some updates that we have made to Ecomdash itself. And one of those updates is the addition of listing categories to help out with listing products repeatedly. Now, part of the reason why we rolled out that feature was we hope to utilize that to help support listing from the mobile app in the future. So it's already on our roadmap. Hopefully we'll be seeing that come out in the midterm future to be able to create those listings from the mobile app directly. But at this point in time, it's limited to those inventory and order management tools we discussed today. Okay, looks like we had a question about generating shipments from within the mobile app. Again, not supported this time, but we do hope to work in more shipping tools into the Ecomdash mobile app. We've had some discussions around that internally, and we're not really sure what that's going to look like just yet. Ultimately, when it comes to shipping, the point that most people are concerned with is being able to generate a shipping label, and it's kind of hard to print a label directly from your mobile phone. So we are looking at ways to integrate the shipping process into the mobile app. If you have any suggestions or feedback for that, definitely submit that through the community forum. We'll be happy to take a look at those suggestions and include them in our future updates to the app. Okay, so we had a follow-up to our previous questions about the types of devices that Ecomdash Mobile can run on. I'm not sure off the top of my head if Ecomdash could run on an iPhone 5C or not. Ultimately, as long as it is an iPhone device that's capable of running iOS 10 or later, Ecomdash will operate on it. If your iPhone 5C can operate on iOS 10, Ecomdash Mobile will work out just fine. All right, well, it looks like the flow of questions is starting to slow down for right now, so I guess that'll bring today's presentation to a close. Moving forward, we do offer webinars within Ecomdash on a fairly regular basis. The next one we have coming up is actually tomorrow afternoon, which is just a general product tour of the desktop version of Ecomdash. So if you haven't experienced that or aren't currently using Ecomdash, definitely recommend signing up for that and joining us in the future. And keep an eye on our webinar schedule. We do offer webinars on a variety of topics on a fairly regular basis, so feel free to join us on another one in the future. With that being said, if you do have any other questions about Ecomdash, Ecomdash Mobile, or any of the other features available within our software, feel free to reach out to us through any of those support options that you have available. Schedule a call, shoot us an email, or reach out to our live chat team. We'll be happy to work with you again in the future. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll look forward to chatting with you again.